the Southwest Corridor. This is the other corridor that I talked about, sort of the missing spoke to the system from downtown through Southwest into some suburban cities called Tiger, Tualatin, King City, and Sherwood. And this is really in the early planning stages. We are basically allowing the land use visions for the local jurisdictions to lead and help us understand where the most important locations are for station areas and for revitalizing their neighborhoods and downtowns, so that when we come in with our alternatives, we'll be serving those visions. Lots of opportunities. It's a strong transit corridor. There's some development happening already. There are some great connections between the Oregon Health Sciences University up on the hill here, Portland Community College with a huge campus, and Portland State University, as well as the development along there. This is yet another place where there used to be service long ago, and we're simply coming back and trying to look at how can we make that service updated and make that connection today. There are 7 bus lines that serve that. There's clearly enough demand, and we'll be looking at making those connections between the downtown Portland, 1 regional center, 5 town centers, and those institutions I mentioned. Excuse me. And we'll even have a connection to the west out there. One thing we're doing, as many other transit systems struggling with funding right now, we're going to a bond measure to the public to ask for some help, especially on elderly and disabled, because the need is so great, the population shift is so great, and the cost is there. It's part of our societal duty, but we have to be able to provide better service. And what we're looking at is replacing our buses with low-floor vehicles, because we still have some high-floor buses, replacing places like this with places that folks can actually get to and board and not have to ride paratransit for every trip, which costs about, is it on here? Our cost, well, it's not on here, but our cost for providing a Lyft trip is something like 10 times as much as our cost for providing a fixed route service trip. And that's not unusual, but it's a gaping hole in the budget if we can't provide service to those who can otherwise on a more efficient service. Bus stop improvements, wherever we can. From things like going from this to this, from this literally a bus stop in a ditch, to something that people can actually get to, even in a wheelchair. From these high-floor vehicles that are very hard to get on and lift great constantly, to the low-floor vehicles, which are great for everybody. Trying to really help all our passengers, regardless of ability. That's a $125 million bond measure, and the great thing is that the original West Side bonds are about to retire. We use those for capital funding for West Side. The idea here is that people could continue to pay essentially the same amount, roll those over into a new bond measure, and get all these great new improvements. This is just a snapshot of our 5-year plan. You can find it on our website if you're interested at all. But really focuses on how you connect those centers, making sure that our service and our capital projects support the regional vision for how you make the region as livable, as sustainable, and as economically viable as possible. And with that, I thank you, and I'm happy to take questions.